Everyone asks for evidence when it comes to mass adoption, regulatory clarity, and whatnot. When it comes to Metallica's ecosystem, folks, mass adoption is here, and there is credible, legitimate evidence for that. We're going to be looking at that in this video. We're going to be exploring that. Anyways, first and foremost, why does it matter for mass adoption of digital assets? That's the question. Mass adoption of digital assets, be it crypto, stablecoins, tokenized securities, hinges on three pillars, the key pillars, folks. Regulatory compliance, number one. Institutional integration, that is number two. And number three is user-friendly infrastructure. The Metallicus ecosystem checks every single one of them. When it comes to regulatory compliance, you all know that the United States of America, after the Trump regime, they have undergone a long framework of digital asset compliance when it comes to stablecoin, the Genius Act, and whatnot. So institutional integration is here. When it comes to the Ripple case as well, the SEC is now lenient when it comes to global mass adoption of digital assets. And every change, folks, it starts from the United States. Everyone knows that, be it technology, be it compliance, whether there is a shift in paradigm in the Middle East or elsewhere, like there is a lot of institutional integration in the Middle East and Asia. But if USA is not involved, that progress cannot be made, folks. That everyone knows about that. And a user-friendly infrastructure. You know that Metallica's ecosystem is creating a really great infrastructure. So Metallicus targets these by embedding blockchain into trusted institutions like credit unions, which serve 140 million plus Americans and prioritize community over profit. We are getting past that speculation phase, the phase of the frenzy. We're going into the phase where utility use cases, services, they're going to be making a change. This is a make or break for this industry. And if this industry is to survive, like the stock market, for the next decade or so, even a century from this point onward, I think this is a make or break point, because you cannot rely on just a store of value narrative that Bitcoin brings. You need something of value, something that can bring change to the banks. You need something that can bring change to the financial institutions. And we all know the asset management firms like BlackRock, like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, the trillion-dollar institutions, folks, they are now interested in digital assets like never before. I know the prices are volatile. Crashes happen time and again. It has happened with the stock market, but we should be looking at the macro level, the macroeconomic indicators. They truly point out the trajectory towards the promised land, and Metallica's ecosystem is bringing that. Anyways, let's check out the key contributions to the adoption. Number one, regulatory first design. Built with BSA AML compliance from day one, Metallicus aligns with US policies like the Genius Act and Clarity Act. So this means that at the government level, they are compliant. They aren't doing anything that is not legal or not by the book. So this enables private subnets for permissioned blockchains where institutions control access, reducing risks like unauthorized trajectory. This responsible DeFi model lets banks offer the services. And talking about responsible DeFi, by responsible DeFi, we mean compliant, decentralized finance, a finance where third parties are not involved, a trustless finance that is compliant, doing everything by the book. Institutional onboarding. Over 15 credit unions, example St. Cloud Financial, Arizona Financial, are live in Metallicus's stablecoin pilot. Folks, this is tangible change. We're not talking about some hypothetical change. This is tangible. It is happening in the real world, in the real financial world. And partnerships with Go West Credit Union Association, 300 plus members, and Darland, QZO accelerates this. Unlike big banks bogged down by bureaucracy, credit unions adopt faster, as you all know, and tokenizing assets for lower fees. And you all know tokenization is primed to be a multi-trillion-dollar industry by 2030. And by 2035, you know that the disruption it's going to be making in the world of finance is paramount, that's for sure. Then we are talking about the fiat crypto bridge, the integration with FedNow, US Federal Reserve's instant payments. It cannot get any bigger than this. When it comes to utility, folks, when it comes to digital assets, World Bank is involved, the World Economic Forum is involved, the IMF is involved, and FedNow, US Federal Reserve's instant payments, is now involved. And talking about the ISO 20022 standards, which is going live. It has gone live when it comes to adoption, but when it comes to real-time fiat settlement and integrating the utility DLT projects, I think that it will happen soon, and this will connect the central banks with it as well. And central banks are exploring CBDCs as well, and Metallicus ecosystem is exploring that. The central bank digital currencies, they are being talked about, they are being tested, and I think somewhere down the line, Metal and the Metallicus ecosystem, they're going to be exploring that as well. While MetalPay's API now on Temenos Exchange is serving 1.2 billion plus users. This is huge in my opinion. Now, talking about the evidence of momentum toward mass adoption, the evidence, everyone asks about evidence. Everyone says hypothetically, yeah, every project claims, every business claims that certain things are happening. But when it comes to evidence, this is the evidence. Look at this. Live deployments. As of the quarter 3 of 2025, stablecoin pilots are active with real member testing. They are signaling a shift from speculation to utility. As I told you guys, we are way past that speculation phase, and in between speculation and utility for now. Utility phase will happen soon, hopefully. By the way, any project can fail or succeed, any business can fail or succeed, but you can look at the partnership scale. Alliances with Investify, 15 plus banking cores. Temenos position Metallicus for exponential reach, which potentially has the potential to onboard millions via the community banks. And then talking about market validation, Marshall Hayner, as you all know, the CEO, notes a decade-long journey in compliance. They have been building this since a decade. We are in 2025, and I think way back in 2015, they've started it. The journey has started long ago, and good things take time, obviously. But let's hope that they succeed in the long haul. Decade from now, the X discussions highlight interoperability with XRP for global rails. Community sentiment views it as the blueprint for the next era of digital finance. Broader context, with US regulatory clarity, example post 2024 elections where the Trump regime gained power, the blockchain banking has increased when it comes to being credible, having a great policy change, a policy shift, and it is primed to capture 20 to 30% of payments by 2030. And Metallicus's focus is on credit unions, nimble and member-owned, which bypasses big bank inertia, much like how fintechs like Chime disrupted retail banking. So this is one of the vital components, folks. And look at this. Yes, Metallicus is a vital, under the radar component for mass adoption, particularly in the United States. And obviously, folks, if there is a change in United States, you do not need change anywhere, because the trickle-down effect and transcendence beyond US happens every time. It has happened, and it happens all the time, again and again. Now, let's check this out. The new era of finance by Cyprus, Demand and Core. What do they have to offer?
Just invested in crypto is going to be like 2, 3, 4, top 5%. But the people that compound between now and then, stack and scoop up more shares of block space in this game, y'all are going to be the winners, the true winners.
Facts. And super patient too for the ones that create that cash flow, because once your cash flow gets to a certain comfortable amount coming in, you're like, all right, I'm chilling. I'm making great streams of income coming in. So this can take another 2 years before it levels up again. I don't mind because I'm Gucci right now where I'm at with this cash flow that's generated coming in right now.
Same people you guys who ever want to do an influencer check this out. Check this mindset out. The same influencers that are telling you guys that currencies are collapsing and that the dollars are going to be replaced, like the dollar is the global reserve currency now and it's going to be replaced in the future, blah, 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 are the same people telling you guys that they're going to sell their crypto for fiat at some high price. How much sense does that make?
Zero.
They're the same ones telling you guys that BRICS is going to replace the US dollar and the dollar's going to zero, but then they're telling you guys that in the future they're going to be able to sell their crypto for fiat to survive. What? Moment in silence.
Yeah, that don't make no sense, bro. That don't make no sense.
It must just be my logical thinking. I don't know,
That logic, bro, that logic kicked in, that firm, you have a better understanding. So it gives you that logical mindset to understand it the way you just spit it, bro. So, spitting facts over here. Every day, your crypto could already be working for you. I said in this post, Metal, XPR, loan as an example, earning yield, growing, compounding. While most people wake up and start the grind for a paycheck, DeFi lets you wake up wealthier than you were yesterday without having to sell a single coin, even if you're just earning 10 cents a day, right? Your net worth is growing, scaling. Yeah.
This isn't a dream. It's happening right now on chain in the Metallicus ecosystem. And the Metal ecosystem pays you every day for providing liquidity, staking, and securing networks that will power the new financial system. Just like Sandy Call just said to you guys that these banks, they're going to be the ones doing this stuff. When the average person finally realizes that they can earn yield 24/7 in real time with no middleman skimming the profits, it's game over for the old way of money. I encourage you guys, and I know so does Aqua, to learn the tools, position yourself early with knowledge, and let your assets do the hard work for you,
Facts.
So let's take a second and listen to this gentleman here. He goes on to talk about how he believes in the future, you should be putting your assets to work. This is John Ainsworth and the DeLand CUSO, or Credit Union Service Organization Chief Information Officer, John Ungelin, discussing lenders in a stablecoin era. So take a second here and just listen to what he says.
Important consideration where, we preach it, but this is an example where I think we're actually delivering it. So,
yeah, I would say kind of a philosophical idea that guides us here is this ancient saying that money is the mother's milk of politics, right? So when we talk about local financial institutions and why we want to see them connected to these new types of money, it's because it's very easy to imagine a world where all of finance gets hyper consolidated through a disruptive event here. And, it's as simple as if local financial institutions aren't preparing a strategy where they're going to plug into stable coins, offer their own stable coins, connect to Bitcoin, connect to Ethereum, then they're, de facto disconnected from the money business, unplugged from the money business. And as you alluded to, JP Morgan and all the Wall Street firms and Bank of America and everybody else will step in. There are already Fed white papers out there that show that those players are testing and proving their own non-NACHA, non-ACH, non-EFT settlement rails. So why we wouldn't be doing the same, I don't know. That's why we didn't sit around. We know that the large players are finding faster, better, cheaper ways to move money. So we went ahead and built the gateway that local FIs need for that. Look, it's simple. I want my kid.
I just want to pause right there. He said we built the gateways that are going to allow this to happen. And then at another point in time in the video breakdown, he mentions that this gateway is Metallicus, just for the record. So just remember that.
To live in a world where if he wants to build a business or buy a house or secure his digital wealth, he doesn't have to be a lone wolf and a maverick and store it in an external wallet somewhere. He can put it to work in his local community, and he can make it part of the community economy, and he can work with local financial institution representatives that, have a bigger purpose in mind, a higher purpose in mind than just, me hodling my Bitcoins in my hardware wallet. That's easy enough to do. I've done that for a long time. What I want to do is I want to put digital wealth to work in the local economy and community and help it enrich a cooperative network, as opposed to just squat on it myself in a digital asset wallet. There doesn't seem to be a lot virtuous or sustainable or noble or scalable about that. So we think it's really important for the diversity and heterogeneity of the U.S. banking system to persist.
So, long story short, right? Dude goes on to talk about how you shouldn't be sitting there with idle crypto. You're going to want to be putting your digital assets to work. And he also specifically mentioned that these banks, these institutions that aren't preparing a futuristic strategy where they're doing this with their crypto, they're lacking. That's a huge statement.
Yeah. I forget. I think the timestamp is.
This is great, folks, and you can see tangible evidence for this change. The Metallicus ecosystem is bringing it. You can see it. It is being wired in the infrastructure of finance as we know it. Now let's see what's happening with the Metallicus ecosystem, what the community is, or what the community is saying. This is Josh, the Rising Phoenix. Same backwards as forwards. I will leave the economist image here. Remember, 10 rising phoenix equals XRP. 10 phoenix rising equals XPR. 10 phoenix 18 equals XPR. I really like the subliminal messages, folks. The hidden messages are really great, and symbolism when it comes to XRP is present in XPR as well. The XPR community is really good when it comes to these symbolisms. So this is great. Get ready for a world currency, the economist. World reserve currency like XRP. Now we're seeing Phoenix everywhere. This is EchoX, folks. He always covers the Metallicus ecosystem. I'm working on a project on the XPR network, and I need your help. What are the most common questions you hear or have about the ecosystem? What are these questions? How is it possible to have no gas fees, feeless transactions, and still be secure? That is a good one. Most of the questions I get are around the loan protocol. Okay. XPR network is gasless. If you use the network and do a transaction, you can see that there is no gas fees. So in that case, it would be cheaper. Now XPR network has been tested to handle 4K transactions per second. Okay, so that is great. But with the upcoming A-chain upgrade, it will be able to handle 10K plus transactions per second. And I think that 10K plus transactions per second will be good for the institutions, and slowly and gradually they will be coming up with solutions as well if they want to increase it over the course of years. This is the A-chain migration, and it might be bigger than you think according to JC8 over here. More than XPR holders migrating to an Ethereum subnet. The A-chain migration will transfer all trading volume and value from traditional markets and transport it by EVM to a gateway portal called CoinGecko to Proton. So let's hope that this migration is great as well. The flip of the switch moment from non-scalable finance to scalable finance. Finance as we know it is changing, and folks, everything has changed when it comes to technology, but we still take 5 days to transfer money from one point to another. When it comes to cross-border payments, the SWIFT system is slow, it is outdated, it is obsolete, it needs change. It hasn't been changed since the 1990s, and now I think it is about time that we change that, that's for sure. This is Crypto Basics, another step closer to mass adoption. The bank's ecosystem, basically, not echo. This is a typo over here. Okay, system giving them the initiative to push it to the masses. Using Metallicus white label banking products will send the whole ecosystem to the stratosphere and beyond. Okay, this is Cointelegraph. This is new. This is latest. The US banks are now allowed to act as intermediaries for digital asset transactions, the crypto transactions, under new regulatory guidance. Awesome. Okay, so this is DDP. This is what I'm talking about. XPR network hits the top 50 DeFi TVL blockchain. The total value locked is really great when it comes to the layer ones. Layer ones need a good DeFi infrastructure, and XPR network is bringing that to the game. It is only a matter of time before we hit the top 10 and then the number one spot. If you are not invested in the ecosystem, I'd suggest getting on Proton. The future is here, and they're saying that the future of finance is inevitable. Let's hope that the business succeeds. According to Marshall over here, he can fix every problem, and the credit union infrastructure that they're building is great. Loan protocol is really awesome. Look at this. We've got Ripple over here, USD coin, Stellar, XMD, Hedera, okay, Cardano, Litecoin, Solana, we've got them folks over here. So, what do you guys think? What is your opinion? Do you think that the evidence for mass adoption is here? Do you think that Metallicus ecosystem is going to be a front runner in this change towards the new era of finance? I would really like your opinions. Do hit the comment box below and let the community know. Anyways, guys, this was it for the video. If you liked it, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification icon if you're interested in utility projects and potential gems. And I would really like you to check out Patreon as well while you're at it. Until next time, stay blessed and stay tuned. Thank you very much, everyone.